It's facing the wrong way. It's shooting up at the light.
So you're a little crooked. Or you can move this either way.
Is the audio on?
Yep.
All right.
When we're live, I believe. So it looks like 5 people are already on our little Facebook Live, Eddie Goo, that you are going to be leading today.
Woohoo! We can close early. Woohoo! No kidding. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome. We are live from historic downtown Stoughton with Facebook Live. This is Ed Guzman, your Prince Charming of Favorite Charms show. And we are going to go through a number of charms tonight that are some of Becky's and mine's favorite, as well as the favorite of our designers. As always, we have a special 15% off for this show that expires 4 p.m. Saturday. We'll jump that to 22% if your order is over $100. Of course, anytime your order is over $50, we'll ship it for free as well. Otherwise, shipping is $4.95. If you've ordered with us in the past, we have a way to contact you, so you don't need to do anything special. Just as the show goes along, just tell us what you'd like. If you see a charm, we give it a name. Say, I want 3 of that charm. Insert name there of this finish, and we will make sure at the end of the show that you get it. If you have not shopped with us before, we just need a way to contact you to send you an invoice and gather your shipping information. So please just Facebook message us with your email address or send an email to becky@diakonosdesigns.com. So we have a lot of fun tonight, and we're going to get right into it. The first half of this show is going to be paired charms, and then the second half is going to be single charms. Why paired charms, do you ask? Well, so many of these charms are designed to just be almost like an instant earring. They're just very beautiful by simply adding them to an ear wire. And I'll give you an example of that. Our very first charm today is the mini triangle. We call it the mini triangle. It's about 10 millimeters in length. It almost looks like a guitar pick. You'll notice many of these charms actually are different on each side. This one we're going to call the mini triangle. It comes in antique brass and antique silver, and it is $250 a pair. I'll just show you the antique brass there real quick, and there we go. And they actually come strung together, so you're going to get a free jump ring as well. Woohoo! But these can be added to ear wires, and my favorite ear wire is I call it the redneck ear wire, and I use the Jeff Foxworthy definition of redneck, which is a glorious absence of sophistication. Basically, it just means how can we do this easily, and how can we do it efficiently? And so I like to use a shepherd's hook. And with a shepherd's hook, all you have to do is you don't need any special tools. You just simply find which side of the earring you want to be your front. In this case, I'll use this one. And you just put the ear wire right through it. And it'll kind of thread up and down the loop. And as you do so, it'll find its final position. And of course, it'll be, there we go. And then you literally, with your thumb, you just squeeze that shepherd's hook closed until the ball, oops, I'm off camera there. Until the ball, you squeeze that ball forward until it touches the ear wire. And look at that, you just got yourself an earring, an ear wire. And then we take these little, if you like the stoppers, you put the little stopper on, and you're good to go. You can see that. So these first 8, really first 15 pairs, you can just literally put them on an ear wire and they are good to go. We sell these ear wires in packs of 10 pairs for $6 or individually for $1 a pair. We have them in antique brass, antique silver, antique copper, and silver. And yes, I have misspelled shepherd of shepherd's hook wrong. But these are what those packs look like. I don't have an antique silver, but we do have silver and antique copper. So if you want one of those, just say I want a 10-pack of shepherd's hooks for $6. Tell us that finish, and we'll get it to you. So we've gone through mini triangle, and now we're going to go through oval flower. Oval flower is just that. It's a little oval. That's about, what is it, about 13 millimeters long. It's actually got two different sides, and again comes in two different finishes. These are $3 a pair, and again come in antique brass. These first 8 only come in antique brass and antique copper. This is an example of layering. You can just simply use a jump ring and layer it onto another element. In this case, I'm just using a simple 16 or 18 millimeter circle there. Those could also be put on an ear wire or be part of a pendant. Maybe if it was part of a pendant, you might put a little wrapped Swarovski crystal in front of that and give it a little pop of color. But again, these are all great for using individually or using in a layered manner. So the next one, so that again, that was oval flower, $3 a pair. This next one is angel cross, $3 a pair. And your first thought is going to be, that does not look like a cross. And again, these sides are different. This is the back side. And again, this front, I really think looks like not only like a cross, but like an angel cross. These are about a 12 millimeter circle, and these are $3 a pair. And again, they come in antique silver and antique brass. Specify angel cross if you want a pair of those. Next, we have something called a floral drop. And the floral drop is 15 millimeters long and again, proportionally wide. Each side's a little different. Those are $3 a pair. Again, specify antique brass or antique silver. And these are premium, these first 8 are premium charms that are cast using the old world methods of casting charms, the lost wax casting method that gives a more pretty and more crisp cast. All right, this has got to be everyone's favorite, $3.50 a pair. So again, this is, we call this the floral heart. Again, floral heart, $3.50 a pair. These are 12 by about 12 millimeters high by 15 millimeters wide. You can always use a heart in any design. Symbolize love, symbolize affection. I should probably have these looking like a heart. Again, so floral heart, $3.50 a pair, antique silver, antique brass. Turkish drops. Becky lets me make up these names, so sometimes I just, whatever spirit moves me when I see some of these. This I'm calling Turkish drops. Again, both sides are different. This is, I think, the cooler side of these. Again, antique brass, antique silver. These are 19 millimeters. And again, almost as wide as they are long. And again, $3.50 a pair. A little hot tip here. There's only 2 pairs of the antique silver left. So don't hesitate if you want Turkish drops in antique silver. We'll go by timestamps if we get more than 2. I don't think we can get any more of these, but they are absolutely lovely. If we can, we'll always try, but as far as we know, we can't. All right, we've got, next is Aztec drops. Aztec drops are about 20 millimeters long. And again, you got a front and a back. And again, this I thought was the side that looked more Aztec-y. And again, antique silver, antique brass with the Aztec drops. $4.50 a pair. Specify the finish on all of these. If you forget, we will call you and ask you, or email and ask you. So those are Aztec drops. Large oval flowers. We had the oval flower before. Now we have 22 millimeters long. We have the large oval flower. And these are also in antique brass and antique silver. These are $5 a pair. And again, you can see the difference in the sides. With these, again, with all of these, they are great for layering. And I just threw together an example of that, just some random elements to give an idea of this could be a focal pendant. Might even look better if this was in this corner. Let's try that. There we go. That was kind of cool. Just a stamping rectangle to give it a little bit background color. And again, could also have some other elements layered in here as well. But you can see how all of these would work great for layering as well. So that is the large oval flower. We're going to move on to the feather. We have a 24 millimeter feather. This is kind of our workhorse feather. And where are we here? You can see it's kind of two-sided. And we have this in our, what we call our classic 4 finishes. You'll see that we call Becky here the Queen of Patina. So yeah, feel free to call her that, the Queen of Patina. And she loves to have patina. And so most of the time we have her favorite charms in antique silver, antique copper, antique brass, and patina. And this is $2 for a pair. And that's how lovely those look. And again, in those 4 finishes. So $2 a pair, 24 millimeters long. We'll call that feather. This one snuck through last week. Little froggy. Becky's little favorite, I believe it's a 14 millimeter froggy. So 14 millimeter, that's just a little over ½ an inch. And about, given how their legs are spread, about the same amount of width, 14 millimeters. And these are just $2 a pair. We have these in 3 finishes. And believe it or not, we actually have an antique gold froggy, something you don't see in nature very often. And we also have antique silver. So these are all $2 a pair.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Do you know what frog can stand for?
Fully rely on God.
Oh, very good. I hope we're doing it.
Fully rely on God, yes. Amen and amen. So there we go. Becky's getting the camera. I'll get my next charm, and the next charm up is little spirals. Oh, well, all right. So sorry. Hope I was zipped up. All right. So we've got spirals are next. These are 22 millimeters long. These are actually the shell of a fish that I don't know, but it's a nice, beautiful little spiral. And Becky just loves to add this in, and it just makes a really great and simple earring. And these are $2.50 a pair, $2.50 for 2 of them. And these come in antique silver and patina. There you go, patina. There you go, beautiful. Alrighty. Those are called spirals. Next is starfish. starfish. These are very ornate starfish. We have about 5 different styles of starfish, and these are probably the most well cast and ornate there are. They are $3 a pair, and we have these in antique silver and patina. They're about 17 millimeters wide and high. Obviously, that little connector is probably adds another 5. Connector loop at the top probably adds another 5 millimeters. So we'll call that 22 millimeters tall. And again, those are $3 a pair. Alrighty. Apologies for that bump. We've next got something we call Alexander's Sun. Sometimes we call it Widow's Mite. Some folks that saw the preview thought this might also be a compass. It could be a compass. You want it to be a compass? It can be a compass. But it's also like the Widow's Mite from the story, some of the stories in the Bible. And it also is called an Alexander's Sun. It was apparently a symbol used by Alexander the Great about 2,400 years ago during his reign. And we have this in, these are $3 a pair. We have these in the classic, Becky's Classic 4 finishes: antique silver, antique brass, antique copper, and patina. This is antique silver, antique copper, antique brass, and of course, the Queen of Patina is on there. And then you'll see that there are smooth, all of these are smooth on the back. Smooth on the back. So $3 a pair, about 14 millimeter circle, again just a little over a ½ inch. This is a good way that we use these earrings. Sell like crazy. We tend to take a little pop of check glass or a Picasso bead and do a wrap above the Alexander's Sun, yet below the ear wire, to create a little bit more of dangle room, and also to create a little bit of interest and pop and color. So that's the Alexander's Sun, $3 a pair. $1 for a pair of ear wires, $4. You got yourself a pair of earrings. How cool is that? These are some 17 millimeter oak leaves. Great time of year to add leaves to your designs, or wear a leaf on each ear. These are $3 a pair, 17 millimeters long, and they only come right now in patina that we have. Obviously, they might come in more finishes, but right now we just have patina in stock. So specify oak leaves, patina, $3 a pair if you'd like a pair. One of my favorites that I use for nautical designs is the conch shell. And the conch shell is about 14 millimeters long, probably 9 to 10 millimeters wide. This is a pair of conch shells. They're $3 a pair. And we have a design called Starfish Story, and we use this as a dangle in that. That was antique brass, and we have antique copper and antique silver. So $3 a pair for conch shells. Some of you grew up seeing a gas station called Shell Oil, and you saw this as actually you probably saw it looking like this as their logo. And what you didn't realize, that's a real shell. That's a shell from a scallop. And so this is called scallop shell. It's about 15 millimeters long and wide. And we have this in 3 finishes. We have it in antique silver and patina and antique brass. Antique brass scallops. These scallops are gluten-free. You will love these scallops. They're not overcooked. They're tender. No. fun to do, fun to do. All right, so next we have something called, when we first saw it, I said, oh, look at that cute little dancing man. And and they're called Coco Pellies. And these come in, so there's a little, this is like maybe Aztec or Mayan, might even be Native American Indian, god of fertility and god of the harvest. There was just a little dancing man called Coco Pelli, and so they're very southwesterny in their appearance, and you can relief paint these and come up with some unique looks. I'm going to show you in a second how we use them in earrings. So this is the antique. This is the antique brass. Now I'm going to show you something, a little trick. I don't know if you can see the difference between those two. One almost looks gold and one looks brass. And what I have done is just taken a brass one out of the, we use these scuffing blocks, and you can get these scuffing blocks from Vintage, but you can also get them from a hardware store. They're like a sponge that has 600 grit sandpaper on it, and you can also just use 600 grit sandpaper. But you can actually create some relief interest in some of these charms by just scuffing them up a little bit and highlighting some of the ridges in the charms. And so this is kind of a before and after of how that looks by just scuffing it up a little bit. So you can get an entirely different look. And in fact, we did that on this pair of Coco Pelli earrings, which I just need to, actually I'm just going to show you one because it's going to be hard to get both of them on camera. But you can kind of see this Coco Pelli was all patina, and I scuffed off the patina down to the copper, and then the reliefed patina stayed in those grooves and defined a beautiful Coco Pelli, and you get a beautiful southwest looking earring out of that. So if you do like the earrings, they're $28, and we have these made with silver Coco Pellis and patina Coco Pellis. I think we just have one pair each left made up. But we would love to send it to you if you are interested. Just specify that. Next we have sand dollars. And again, the Coco Pellis were $4.50 a pair, and they were 34 millimeters long, about 1.5 inches. This is a sand dollar. Everyone knows what a sand dollar is. These are about 16 millimeters, about 5/8 of an inch in diameter, a little bit more for that knobber at the top. We have these in copper, and we have these in brass. I'm sorry, in silver, brass, antique brass, I should say. And then a very, very shiny gold, very, very shiny gold. As you'll see, some of these charms are more for gold. This one is not. So right now, this is $3 a pair for your sand dollars. With these sand dollars, and I'm going to show you on the on this. You can, first of all, you're going to see those 3 holes at the bottom. And you're going to think, wow, those are a designer's paradise. And what that is I don't have an exact sample made up using the sand dollars, but here's another example where someone has taken something with a lot of holes, and in this case they've added 3 dangles to that. So imagine those were the sand dollars. You could just sit there and do wrap-ons, or wrap on a little bead interest and wrap it right onto there, or you could add some other interest with a jump ring. So you can do that with the sand dollar as well as the next thing I'm going to show you. So you keep that in mind as you buy the sand dollar, that that many things can be hung from that. Maybe you have 3 children and you want to have their birthstones hang from that. Next we have something I call the Viking axe blade, and You can just call it the axe blade. And I thought that's obviously, you could maybe call it Ruth Bader Ginsburg's collar. Maybe Ruth Bader Ginsburg's collar. Doesn't that kind of look like her collar? Anyway, these are just really, really striking and dramatic. They're 25 millimeters high by 30 millimeters wide. And again, look at all those holes at the bottom to hang different elements off of. It just, like I said, the design ideas are endless. These are $5 a pair, and they come in 4 finishes: antique silver, and antique copper.
Hey Eddie, Audrey has asked what wire is used to put the beads onto that earring.
Good question. I'll just quick finish here at antique or patina, and of course, well, you know what antique brass looks like. Antique brass, yes. Boom, boom. There you go. So, Audrey asked a question. So what these are, Audrey, are just simple head pins, ball pins, and you're basically stringing your beads on there, and then if you know how to do a wrap loop, you just wrap it right on. If you're ever in our studio, we are happy to show you how to do that. As a private lesson, we might charge you just a few dollars to do that, but it's a very easy technique. And these are probably anywhere from 20 to 24 gauge in terms of the thickness of wire of the head pins or ball pins that are used. So, and these are probably 2-inch. You don't need a fancy long 3-inch head pin or ball pin. Just a normal 2-inch will probably do just fine for doing something like that. So another great use for your head pins and ball pins. Next we have a doodad, and I know that Becky's got a cool thing that she wants to show that we can do with doodads. This was a late scratch from last week's show. It's really more of a finding, but it's actually official name from the manufacturer is a doodad. It's basically a circle and a circle that are placed perpendicular on top of each other. There's a lot of fun design things you can do with these. This starts the part of the show where we now are pricing the charms each. So going forward, when you see a price, it is each, and I've tried to, spell it out in the tray that whether it's a pair or whether it's each. These come in the Fab 4. These are antique brass, antique silver, antique copper, and patina. These are about 12 wide by 18 long. That is the copper one. This is the patina one. And of course the antique silver. So sometimes people would come into the store with beach glass or a cabochon or even a stone they picked out of the Sea of Galilee, and they would say, I want to come up with an interesting way to put a bail on there. And again, I think it's not only a redneck bail, but it is actually a darn right cool bail. You simply glue a doodad onto the back of whatever pendant you're looking to do, and when it's on the front, all of a sudden, look at that, look how beautiful they look from the front. This is Hawaiian beach glass, I believe, maybe not.
And then it's a rose quartz on the right.
And then rose quartz on the right. And then it automatically aligns, by the fact that the doodad is twisted, it automatically aligns it to the proper direction.
Yeah, I love that the bail fits the way that it does. I just wanted to show you that the little doodad bit is got just a little bit of curve. So if you find beach glass or beach stones, whatever, you can usually find a spot where it just settles in and feels like it fits just right. And then I like to use a little bit of super glue. You could try different glues, but super glue tends to work pretty darn well. And then glue it on, and there you be. It's just a happy way to take a stone that you might have found, or that, one of your kids, your grandkids found, and that you would want to share. Oh, well, there we go.
I'm just going to move my camera over a little bit while we're doing that transition.
And can I show this one other cool fun thing?
While we're doing that, we'll have Becky show one other cool thing. Absolutely.
Thanks. So this is another, thanks to our good friend Lynn, who is full of great ideas. I love this little piece to kind of do a transition. So this necklace is a bunch of links of different fun bits and parts, some beads, some findings that we did last week. But then you use the doodad to be a transition from the beaded portion. So you have a, this segment that has all those lovely links connected. And then you can put leather around the back. So this becomes, the closure and the back side of the necklace. And it just makes for a really sweet, easy, fun transition and a way to, mix materials and have a fun continuation of your necklace without having it to be all these pretties. Because if any of you have done little wrapped bits like these, they're beautiful and they're time consuming. So if you can put on the back side, chain, because this could transition, this little finding, you could use it to transition over to chain as well. Then you put along the back leather or chain, which is super simple and easy and doesn't take nearly so much work as putting all those little pretties together. So anyway, that's one of my favorite things to do with this. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Keep giving me that piece of leather over by the glue. Alrighty, so how are we doing on time here? Let me know how we're doing on time once we get back over to the PC, Mama. So we're about halfway through, maybe a little or so.
Time on your computer. 6:30.
All right, so we're doing good. We're at about the halfway point, and we're about halfway through. So next we're going to show you an anchor. This anchor is 18 millimeters, probably by about 13 or 14 millimeters, and a very classic style. It comes in 3 finishes. Of course, patina, queen of patina. Oops, let's get that right. And $1.50 each. Not to confuse you, but we have this thing called cheaper by the dozen. So most of our charms are, if they're $1.50, they're $15 a dozen. So basically you're getting 2 free when you buy a dozen. And I'll show you one other fun thing that people have done. They'll sometimes make a very simple bracelet out of these. Where'd my camera angle go? There we go. And they'll put a loop on one end of their bracelet, and they'll just simply knot off the other end of their leather bracelet. It could be a leather necklace, but usually it works better if it's a bracelet, so it has a little bit of tension on it. But they'll just simply tie a knot here, maybe string some simple beads, come up with a loop on the end, and that loop can actually go into the anchor and use that as a clasp as well. Pretty cool there, huh? So anchors $1.50 each, doodads $1.50 each, $15 a dozen. You just basically add a 0 to get the dozen price, and you know that instantly that'll be saving you about 20%. Sailboats, these we do on earrings all year long, and they sell well. People love, if they don't have a sailboat, they want to think they want to have one, and it just is a great nautical feel. These are about 20 millimeters tall, probably about 15 millimeters wide. We have those in 2 finishes, antique silver and patina, and these are $1.50 each. And those are a nice, lovely sailboat. Last week you saw the cinnamon roll. This week you're going to see the spiral, kind of just like the beginning of Twilight Zone. Do 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 do. All right, so spiral. It's a 2-sided spiral with a very thick bail on it. These are really sturdy and well made, 16 by 22 22 tall, 16 wide. They are only $2 each. And again, $20 a dozen. We have them in antique silver, patina, and copper. Antique silver, patina, and copper, the large spiral. We do have a small spiral that we right now have just in copper only, and that's just $1. That is 10 by 16, 10 millimeters wide by 16 millimeters tall. I don't have one here, but actually I take that back. I do have it here. Look at that. Big brother, little sister. There we go. So $2, $1. And so if you do want the $1 one, just specify you want a mini copper spiral for $1. Otherwise, large spiral, copper, antique silver, and patina for $2 each. This next one we have in 5 finishes that are $2 each. The gold is $3 each. This one, again, if you saw, gold has gone from $13.50 an ounce to $1,800 an ounce, about 33% increase in price this year. And this has, beyond that, the classic 4 finishes: antique silver, antique copper, antique brass, and patina. These are about 15 millimeters wide by 15 millimeters tall. If you look really close, and I don't know if I can get it in the camera, right by the hole, you'll see a little ichthus fish that's stamped on these. They're just stamped on one side. And I'm going to show you these large hearts, and then I'm going to show you the mini hearts. So actually, we're just calling these hearts. When I show you the mini hearts, they'll also have that same signature stamp on them as well. So we saw, this is antique silver, and then antique copper. And this is a great proportional heart. It's a great size. It's not too big to be a dangle, but it's also sturdy enough to be a focal or part of a layered focal pendant. And again, 15 millimeters, $2 for antique silver, copper, brass, and then patina, $3 if you want gold. 5 different choices there for a lovely heart that is great for use in designing. Next, we're going to jump over to the mini hearts. The mini heart, we are missing the gold right now, so we just have the classic 4 finishes. And these are only 9 millimeters, so they're just a really, you want just a little hint of sweetness. Definitely a great wrist dangle on a end of a bracelet. This is the antique brass. Again, they have the little tiny ichthus stamped in them. Lovely, lovely. That was antique silver. And then we have antique copper. Antique copper. So again, $1.25 each, or $12.50 a dozen. And you can mix and match on anytime when I mention a dozen, you can mix and match finishes as well. Next, we have something I named the island leaf. Why is it the island leaf? Well, I think it looks like something like a palm frond that you would see on an exotic remote island. And again, it is 2-sided, and again has a very dramatic bail. Again, these bails on a lot of these charms that have these top bails, they are great for threading directly onto what's wrong?
Nothing.
All right. They're great for threading directly onto leather. So some of the ones we saw, like the doodads and the spirals, they all have the ability, even the They have the ability to be threaded directly on to leather or thin chain as well. And you can maybe put a little bead on each side of that on the leather and create a very unique and simple necklace. So we have that. The island leaf is $1.50 each, $15 a dozen. It's 28 millimeters tall all the way up to the top of the bail. We have that in 3 finishes. We have that in antique copper, antique silver, and of course, patina. Gotta love patina. Alrighty, island leaf, $1.50. So now next we got a couple different crosses. I call this the open cross. And the open cross is because the center is open. This is about 25 millimeters tall to the top of the loop, probably about 20 to the bottom of the loop. And it's got a cross within a cross. We've used this in designs where sometimes you want to have something popping through in that center. There is kind of a distinct front and back. This is more beveled into the design where it's kind of flat on the back. You'll also see that the loop is more offset to the back of the charm versus the front. And we have that in silver, antique silver and patina. And then we also have that in gold. These are $2 each, but the gold is $3. Gold is $3. I love gold. Says Goldfinger. All right, so $3 for that. Again, call it open cross, 25 millimeters tall. This one I'm just calling cross. And we've probably, I don't know, we might have bought in 5 or 6,000 of these over our 12-year history. We've done so many large 10 to 300 piece projects for churches and Bible studies and charities. And if the design needed a cross, this was kind of our workhorse cross. It's just so well made. It's got great proportions. Excuse my bump there. And it can be strung, again, directly onto leather. I'm going to come back on the screen here in just a second. Again, it has a sideways hole where you can string it directly onto leather, or you can use about a 6 millimeter ring. This is a design we have called the Great Commission. If you got a ring any smaller than 6 millimeter, it's just not going to go through that hole, but so 6 millimeter larger will go through lovely, and then you can gain the right hole orientation to pin it to or layer it to a design. And this is being layered against a Dominican Republic peso, and it's a story talking about the Great Commission. Go out and make disciples of all nations. And so the coin symbols kind of all nation. The cross symbolizes disciples. If you like this design, this is also on our website. This is $18. It's just a nice little charm that you can, with about 7 or 8 different elements that tell a story, that you can connect to a keychain or turn into a pendant. It's called the Great Commission charm. So that's an example how to use what I call the cross. And the cross comes in 4 finishes. Again, the Power 3 antique brass, patina, and antique silver. Those are $2 each, $20 a dozen. And the gold is $3 each, $30 a dozen. And again, these are 20 millimeters tall, a great size. Could almost be used still as a dangle. It's getting right at that size where anything bigger than that you don't really want to have dangling, but it certainly still can be used for that. But it's a great, both of these crosses I pick as they're great unisex crosses that can be used for both men and women and pretty much all occasions, and they're very cost effective. Next we have one of our favorite fish, and it's called the 9 fish. And if you can count them, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, And then the fish itself is the ninth fish. There's 9 fish that are part of this fish. And it's got a little bit of interest on the back side. It is 3-dimensional. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. And this is 28 millimeters long, so it's just a little over an inch. And this is just so fun to design with. I know we have a design called 153 fish that actually uses 17 of those fish, but I know it wouldn't fit in the screen very well. But this is a keychain we have called Keep Swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. And on the back, we usually use a 9 fish. And this one happens to be antique brass. And so this is also on our website, Keep Swimming. It's $20 under keychain ideas. And this one has an unusual one in that it actually has bright copper as a choice. So it has the Power 4 choices: antique silver, antique copper, antique brass, patina. But this one also has a bright copper as well. And again, patina. I think I showed you the copper already. And then silver, antique silver. And then you saw the antique brass, but we'll give you another quick shot of that. 28 millimeters long. The 9 fish is $2.50 each, $25 a dozen. And just let us know how many fish you need. If you say you need 9 fish, be careful. We'll send you 9. But if you say you want 1 9 fish, we'll send you 1 9 fish. I'm kidding. So next we have the dragonfly, and this really is a large dragonfly, but for today's show purposes, we're going to call it a dragonfly. And this is 24 by 27 millimeters, so just a little larger than a quarter would not cover the edges of the wings. And again, you've got that sideways bail that leather could, or even pretty thick chain could go through. And this one has the classic 4 finishes: antique silver, antique copper, antique brass, patina. But it also has this lovely antique gold that's not currently priced any differently. And so I thought I'd just show you that antique gold as well. And again, dragonflies are kind of like butterflies in jewelry design. They symbolize renewal and rebirth. Dragonfly is just like a butterfly. There's a very, very ugly larva, looks like a big fat grub worm that, dies and a cocoon is formed, and out of that cocoon, a most beautiful, beautiful dragonfly is renewed and restored and reborn out of something that seemed to be not going well, and all of a sudden it's going better than you imagined. So it's a great, great symbol for maybe 2021. Maybe 2020 is the cocoon and the larva, and maybe 2021 is going to be the dragonfly.
And I think we think of it as like transformation from an ugly state to a beautiful state, and you don't know when you're in the ugly how beautiful the beautiful is going to be.
Yeah,
that's what transformation does.
Yeah. 2 of our good friends, Marcia and Gloria, have a design studio called Blue Dragonfly, and I'm sure they picked that name for that reason. Alrighty, so dragonflies $2.50 each, $25 a dozen, and we will not send you any larvae. We will send you only dragonflies. Next, we have large infinity symbols. So yes, it's an infinity symbol, not a big number 8. Infinity symbol. We have this. This is actually $3 each. It's 11 millimeters wide by 30 millimeters long. So this is a nice big one. So it makes a substantial bracelet on thicker leather. It can also be a very substantial dangle from a necklace, or paired with a number of charms to tell a story. And we have this in 3 finishes: antique brass, as you've seen, antique silver, and it is curved, so there's a little bit of dimensionality to it. It's designed to kind of fit the curve of your wrist. And then, of course, antique copper, which is a pretty bright antique copper, almost a copper. But we're going to call it antique copper. And these are nice and sturdy. And these are $3 each, $30 a dozen. Mix and match. And next we have a compass. For those of you that thought the Alexander Sun was a compass, now we have an actual, real compass. And it's got the north, south, east, west on it. It is two-sided. It is about 22 millimeters tall. It's a 20 millimeter circle, but then you got about a little 2 millimeter bail on there. Great, great detail on these. And these come in 3 finishes, antique silver, as you just saw.
It's the same on the back. You know?
Yep. Yes. Same on the back. Yep, that was a blonde tester. Same on bead snort. Patina. It's a little bit lighter on the patina. And then we have it in antique brass as well. $3 each, $30 a dozen. These are just have a nice weight to them. Finally, I want to show you the bird in nest. These are 25 millimeters. Come in antique brass, antique silver, antique copper, and antique gold. These you may have seen in not our current newsletter, but our last newsletter. We were featuring these. We had bought about 20 of each finish for a project that never materialized, and I just found these recently, and like we find a lot of things in the store with a lot of stuff, tucked away all over the place, but I thought these need to see the light of day. I mean, these are just a beautiful charm, and again, with 3 little faux pearls glued in to the nest to look like 3 eggs, and the mama is kind of watching over her nest. And it's a beautiful 3-dimensional nest. I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice. But again, these are about 25 by 25. We were selling these for $4.50 each, and we sold quite a few. And we're putting these on super, super special for just $3 each, or $30 a dozen. And again, this is antique brass. And then we have antique copper. I mean, you literally put a basic chain on here or a basic leather necklace, and you've got a gift that you could take anywhere as a housewarming gift or a shower gift, office party gift, and you've only got, the cost of your chain and $3, and you've got what appears to be a very beautiful and thoughtful gift, because it is. This is the antique gold. Again, currently not priced anymore. It's still $3. And then finally, antique silver on the nest. So just call that, this is called bird in nest, 25 millimeters, $3 each. So how are we doing on time, Miss Becky?
We are at 6:52, Mr. Guzman.
6:52. Well, there's nothing wrong with ending a little early. I want to show you that maybe you can, if you can see it or not. Again, just up to a lot of these charms that are 3-dimensional, you can do this scuffing technique. I showed you this scuffing block before, and I'm just going to gently scuff this patina one, and I'm wondering if you can kind of see the difference there. Look at that. The dots tend to really pop a lot more than when you don't scuff them. Tumbling these also will achieve that effect for those of you that have a tumbler. And you'll get some beautiful effects by tumbling these. But just with that few seconds of work, you can give it a little bit more 3-dimensional work. There's a lot of these charms that you can do that on as well. If you don't have a scuffing blot, again, about 600 grit sandpaper. That's a very fine grit of sandpaper. Would also do the job. Again, 15% off on your purchases through 4 p.m. Saturday. We'll jump that up to 22% if you spend over $100. And if your order after discount ends up being over $50, we'll ship it for free. Otherwise, it's just a flat $4.95, flat and reasonable $4.95 to ship it to you. If you are a new shopper, please let us know your email address and whether you are a Wisconsin resident or not, so we can know whether to add tax or not to your invoice. And again, you can do that by sending Becky a Facebook message in Messenger. Don't do it on the live feed. I want to keep your email address private. But if you don't want to do it in Messenger, you can also go to email Becky@diakonosdesigns.com, and you can send her your email address and potentially your order, a list of what you want to order, and we'll follow up. At this point, probably we may not follow up till tomorrow morning, but we'll follow up with a secure click and pay invoice, and which we send to you. You pay it and tell us where to ship it, and then we likely ship it the same day or very shortly afterwards. Next up, next week, we're going back to the lunch hour on Thursday, and noon Thursday, the October 1st, we're going to do a kit overview. We've got over 40 kit families, and some of you may not know that, and so it's just a way to get exposure to all our different kit families. And we're going to offer some tips and tricks during that. Sometimes the young folks call them hacks. We're going to call them tips and tricks and hacks, but just some things that will help you be a better kit maker in making our kits. And we think that that's valuable. And so we're going to do, given that this is October, with our kit promotion going the whole month of October, we thought that would be valuable to do. And during the month of October, we're going to also circle back to some more charms, and we're going to hopefully launch Road Warrior, a new bracelet kit, during one of these shows coming up in early to mid-October as well. So look for those shows, and we thank you all so much for tuning in, and we thank you for your support, not only during the pandemic but the past 12 years, and we hope to continue doing this as long as we are able and the lights are on. And we thank you so much. Sleep tight, and we'll talk to you again soon. How do I turn it off?
You're so cute. How do I turn it off? You turn it off by hitting a button over here somewhere, Eddie Allen. I don't even know. All right, so we're probably chit-chatting. People might be hearing, which is all good. We love everybody who might be still here.
There looks like a blue button there.
And, oh, there we go.